echoes from the void. The message arrived at 3:27 a.m. Earth Standard Time, jolting Dr. Maya Chen from a fitful sleep. Her apartment's AI had overridden her Do Not Disturb protocols, judging the incoming transmission Priority Alpha. "Projecting transmission from Vaxillian Science Cooperative," announced the system. A shimmering hologram materialized above Maya's desk, the familiar form of Liron, her research partner for the past 3 years. The Vaxillian's slender frame glowed with subtle bioluminescence, pulsing slightly with what Maya recognized as agitation. "Maya," Liron's voice resonated with unusual harmonic undertones. "The seer requests your presence, immediately. The matter is personal." The hologram flickered. "Transport coordinates attached. Please hurry." Maya sat up, brushing dark hair from her eyes. The seer? In their years collaborating on quantum linguistics, Liron had mentioned their parental guardian only in passing, a respected elder in the Vaxillian society, someone with the rare ability to perceive communication patterns across vast distances. System. Reply. Message received. Need more information. Why does the seer want to see me? Minutes passed. No response. By morning, curiosity had overwhelmed caution. Maya packed lightly. A quantum translator, research notes, and a few personal items. As the foremost human expert on non-terrestrial communication patterns, she'd faced plenty of interstellar mysteries. This, however, felt different. Personal, Liron had said. The transport journey took 11 days, during which Maya reviewed everything she knew about Mixalia, a gas giant's moon perpetually bathed in aurora-like energy fields that the native species used for both communication and sustenance. The Vaxillians themselves remained largely enigmatic despite decades of diplomatic relations, their translucent bodies and light-based language making them fascinating subjects for Maya's research. "Approaching Vaxillian docking sphere," announced the transport AI. "Please prepare for atmospheric adaptation." Through the viewport, Vaxillia appeared as a swirling orb of blues and violets, with floating citadels suspended in its upper atmosphere. Maya had only seen images before. The reality was breathtaking. Liron waited at the arrival platform, their forms shifting with what Maya recognized as nervous energy. "You came," they said simply. "Your message wasn't exactly detailed," I replied, adjusting to the lighter gravity. "What's this about?" "Not here. The seer is waiting." They traveled by light rail through floating crystal spires and gardens where luminescent life forms drifted like underwater flora. Maya noticed other Vaxillians watching her passage with unusual interest. Finally, they arrived at a private sanctuary near the planet's magnetic pole, where the atmospheric energies converged in spectacular patterns. "Enter alone," Liron instructed, gesturing toward an iridescent doorway. "The seer will explain everything." Heart racing, Maya stepped through the portal into a chamber that seemed composed of light itself. At its center waited a Vaxillian unlike any she'd seen. Taller, their translucent form rippling with complex patterns that somehow conveyed both age and vitality. Dr. Maya Chen, the being's voice resonated directly in her mind rather than through the translator. "For months now I have heard your mind singing across the stars. Do you not hear mine singing back?"
Whispers of light. Maya stared at Nairis, her scientific mind racing to process what she'd just heard. The seer's forms seemed to shimmer more intensely when they spoke directly to her mind. "I don't understand," Maya said carefully. "My mind singing?" Nairis moved closer, and Maya felt a strange flutter in her chest, like the resonance of a tuning fork. "Among my people, I am what we call a soul sensor," Nairis explained, their voice a melody in Maya's thoughts. "We perceive consciousness as patterns, as music. Most beings emit signals detectable only at close range, but yours—" Nairis paused, their form pulsing with a soft azure glow. "Yours reaches across vast distances, on a frequency that specifically resonates with mine." Maya's translator device beeped, struggling to convert concepts with no human equivalent. She switched it off, finding she understood Nairis better without it. "Is that why Liron connected us? For research purposes?" Maya asked, though something told her the answer was more complicated. Nairis gestured, and the room around them transformed, displaying stellar maps with a thin silver thread connecting Earth to Vexillia. This is the path of our resonance. The day you saved Liran during the lab accident on your space station, your neural patterns registered in my awareness. At first, I thought it was anomalous data, but the connection persisted, strengthened. Maya remembered that day. A power surge, dangerous radiation, her split-second decision to push Liran from harm's way. In our history, there are rare accounts of resonance partners, beings whose consciousness vibrates in perfect complementary patterns, regardless of physical form or origin. Such bonds were once celebrated, then feared, then denied existence entirely. Later that evening, in guest quarters that resembled a living aurora, Maya recorded her observations while trying to make sense of her situation. The walls responded to her thoughts, shifting colors in synchrony with her emotional state. A soft chime announced Liran's arrival. "You should have told me the real reason," Maya said, not turning to face them. "Would you have come?" Liran asked, their form dimming slightly with what Maya now recognized as concern. "I don't know," she admitted. "This is unprecedented." "Not entirely," Liran corrected. "I've been researching our archives. There were 7 documented human Vexillian residences in the early contact period, all redacted from official records when the Council decided interspecies bonds threatened our cultural purity." That night, Maya dreamed of crystalline gardens and starlight conversations she'd never had. She awoke knowing they were Nairis's memories, somehow transferred across their growing connection. Over the following days, Maya found herself drawn repeatedly to Nairis's sanctuary. Each visit strengthened the inexplicable bond between them. She began to sense Nairis's emotions, their curiosity, their loneliness as a seer set apart from their own kind, and something deeper, warmer when they looked at her. "The Council has noticed your presence," Nairis warned one evening as they walked through suspended gardens where light itself grew like plants. "Let them ask," Maya replied, surprising herself with her boldness. When their hands accidentally brushed, tiny sparks of light danced between them, and Maya felt a rush of warmth that had nothing to do with temperature. What neither of them noticed was the observer documenting their interactions from a distance, their form rigid with disapproval, already composing a formal complaint to the Vexillian High Council about improper interspecies contact.
The Harmony Garden. The summons from the Vexillian High Council arrived 3 weeks into Maya's stay, its tone leaving no doubt about their displeasure. "They cannot forbid us from seeing each other," Maya insisted as Liran delivered the news. "We're engaged in legitimate cross-cultural exchange." Liran's form flickered anxiously. "The Council doesn't see it that way. They've been monitoring your resonance patterns. They know this is personal." Before Maya could respond, a sharp pain lands through her head, bringing her to her knees. Through watering eyes, she saw her hands glowing faintly with the same luminescence as Nairis's skin. "It's accelerating," Liran whispered, helping her up. "The physiological adaptation. It shouldn't be possible." Hours later, recovered but shaken, Maya found herself whisked away in Nairis's private transport, descending toward Vexillia's rarely seen surface. "Where are we going?" she asked. "Somewhere the Council rarely looks," Nairis replied. "The Harmony Gardens. If answers exist for what's happening between us, we'll find them there." They landed in a valley where reality itself seemed fluid. Massive crystal formations rose from the ground, each humming with unique tones that combined into an ever-changing symphony. Between them grew plants unlike any Maya had seen, some translucent like Vexillians, others solid but glowing from within. "Our oldest sanctuary," Nairis explained, leading them along a path that responded to their footsteps with ripples of light. "They're responding to us, to our connection." Nairis nodded, their form brightening with excitement. "In all my years tending this garden, I've never seen such a response." They reached a secluded grotto where crystal pools reflected not their physical forms, but swirling patterns of energy. Maya's a deep sapphire blue, Nairis's silver, the patterns intertwining where they stood close. "The gardens show truth," Nairis said softly. "What we're experiencing isn't just uncommon, Maya. It might be unique in our recorded history." That night, sheltered in an ancient structure that adapted to their needs, the distance between them finally collapsed. When Nairis touched Maya, their fingertips left trails of light across her skin that lingered for heartbeats afterward. The sensation was electric, intimate in a way Maya had never experienced. "I don't understand how this can work between us," she admitted, even as she leaned into the touch. "Perhaps understanding isn't required," Nairis replied, their voice resonating directly in her mind now, carrying emotions words couldn't express. When their lips met, the world around them responded, the crystals singing higher, plants blooming out of season. Maya felt Nairis not just physically, but mentally, a gentle presence intertwining with her thoughts, showing her colors beyond human perception, sensations beyond human experience. Meanwhile, in the capital, Liren frantically worked with a small group of progressive scientists, documenting the changes in both Maya and Nairis's physiologies. What they discovered was revolutionary. At the quantum level, their cellular patterns were harmonizing, creating something neither fully human nor fully Vexellian. "This could change everything we know about consciousness," one researcher exclaimed. "If the Council allows it to continue," Liren replied grimly, receiving word that a delegation had already been dispatched to locate the missing seer and their human companion. In the Harmony Garden, blissfully unaware, Maya and Nairis discovered what it meant to transcend the boundaries of their separate species, finding in each other not just desire, but a completion neither had known was missing.
Dissonant tides. The Council's enforcers arrived at dawn, their crystalline vessels descending through the misty atmosphere of the Harmony Gardens like predatory birds. Maya woke to the sound of Nairis's distress, not heard, but felt through their deepening bond. "They found us," Nairis said, their luminescence dimmed to a worried glow. "Sooner than I expected." Maya rose quickly, noticing with alarm that the veins on her arms now carried faint traces of light, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat, a visible sign of how deeply the resonance had altered her physiology. "What happens now?" she asked, fighting to keep her voice steady. Before Nairis could answer, the structure around them trembled as enforcement fields locked into place, designed specifically to dampen resonance connections. Elder Thravix, head of the Vexellian Genetic Preservation Committee, entered first, their ancient form hardened with crystalline growths signifying extreme age and authority. "Seer Nairis, you have violated our most sacred laws," Thravix announced, not acknowledging Maya's presence. "Interspecies residence is forbidden for the preservation of our evolutionary purity." "Laws based on fear, not fact," Nairis countered, moving protectively closer to Maya. "There is nothing impure about our connection." "Irrelevant," another council member interjected. "The human will return to Earth immediately. You will undergo resonance cleansing." Maya felt cold dread at those words. Through their connection, she sensed Nairis's horror at the prospect. Resonance cleansing was tantamount to partial mind-wiping. "I will not submit," Nairis stated firmly. "Then you choose exile," Thravix declared. "Permanent removal from Vexellian society." The guards moved forward, separation fields generating between them to physically force Maya and Nairis apart. The moment the fields touched their joined hands, something unprecedented occurred. The energy rebounded, amplified by their combined resonance, sending shockwaves through the garden. The council members recoiled as Maya and Nairis began to glow in unison, their shared resonance creating a defensive sphere around them. The garden itself responded, crystal formations growing rapidly, creating barriers between them and the enforcers. "Impossible," whispered Thravix, witnessing abilities no single Vexellian had ever demonstrated. Using the distraction, Maya and Nairis fled deeper into the Harmony Gardens, where the ancient crystals provided natural interference against tracking. "They'll never stop hunting us now," Maya said, as they reached safety in a hidden grotto where massive crystal formations created a natural sanctuary. Perhaps they shouldn't stop, Nyarus replied unexpectedly. Perhaps this confrontation is long overdue. That evening, as they huddled in their crystal refuge, a small transport arrived, carrying Liren and 3 other Vexellian scientists, all risking censure to support them. We've been analyzing your combined resonance patterns, Liren explained, projecting data streams that swirled like galaxies between them. What's happening between you isn't just uncommon, it's evolutionary. Your bond is creating new pathways of consciousness neither species has accessed before. The Council fears what they don't understand, but we've uncovered ancient records. Before the Purification Era, interspecies resonance was studied, even celebrated. The prohibition came only after the Resource Wars, when isolation was deemed necessary for survival. As they spoke, Maya doubled over in pain. The separation from Nyarus during the confrontation had accelerated the physiological changes. Nyarus immediately wrapped her form around hers, their combined glow stabilizing her condition. "We cannot run forever," Nyarus said softly, "and Maya cannot survive continued disruption of our bond." "Then we must make them understand," Liren urged. "Challenge the Council publicly, with evidence. Force them to acknowledge what's really happening." That night, as the 2 groups planned their strategy, Maya and Nyarus retreated to a pool of liquid crystal, where they submerged themselves completely, their forms merging not just mentally, but physically within the conductive medium. In that perfect resonance, they glimpsed something beyond themselves, a vision of consciousness transcending physical limitations, of communication across vast distances, of possibilities neither species had imagined alone. "Whatever comes next," Maya whispered as they emerged, her body now permanently traced with luminescent patterns, "we face it together." By morning, messages had spread throughout the Vexellian communication network, an unprecedented public challenge to the Council's authority, backed by scientific data too compelling to dismiss. The stage was set for a confrontation that would either tear them apart forever or change Vexellian society irreversibly.